Now we're going to look at how to utilize the Amazon price cost calculator. In other words, how to run the numbers to see if we'll be able to get the return on investment that we're looking for. And that includes the pricing that we're going to use as well as the expenses that we're going to be spending. And I'm going to do a general overview, not a very detailed one, but it gives you an idea how to utilize this Amazon price cost calculator. So let's get started. If we're going to use silicone baking cups, I'm going to use specifically the one baking cup that we sourced on Alibaba that came packaged already. I like that because, again, for me, it saves me time, effort, resources, and money. Granted, you don't have to, and it's actually better not to when you think about it, because if you can find great packaging sources here at super inexpensive prices, then you're golden. But if not, let's say I'll just do it for the sake of this exercise to show exactly how to run through this entire price cost calculator. So the item name is going to be the packaged silicone baking cups. Now, granted, I haven't come up with the name yet, but I'm only putting this down for informational purposes. Okay, the silicone baking cups or liners. I like liners, and I probably will lean toward another use of it because there's a lot of these on Amazon, so I might use it for something else. But for now, I'll use it silicone baking liners. Now, the wholesale price, I assume, I'm going to assume that it was $1 because when we checked it out on Alibaba, let's see, down here, this is the one I'm looking at right here. Actually, let's use this one. This one seems pre-packaged. Okay, look at that, nice little package, little label on the side. They're looking anywhere from 80 cents to $3. Now, granted, by this time, I've probably already done the dialogue with my supplier, and they've given me their information as to what they can do for the amount of pieces. Let's just say we're doing a minimum order of 100 pieces at their highest price is going to be $3. So let's bump that up. Let's say 500 pieces for, let's say, $1 each. Now, granted, I'm not saying that that's what it is, but you could always negotiate. All right, so let's go to our price cost calculator. So let's say the wholesale price is $1, and the unit amount, I'll do 500. Okay. Now, of course, that means my total cost is $500. The shipping cost, let's not forget they have to ship it over to us. If we're looking at 500 of those units, you're looking at, if there's 12 per unit, that's a lot of weight that you're looking at. But granted, they have a lot of special, shipping arrangements that make it so that the cost is not super high. But let's a substantial, for general purposes. Granted, I always ask them what the shipping cost is. They do the estimates, so they send it to me, and I can put that number right there. But I'll for now say it's going to be $300, $300 shipping. And don't worry, it seems like it's a lot of money, but when you look at it per unit expense, it's $1.60. It's not very expensive at all, especially when you price it at a good price. All right, so my total cost is going to be $800, but per unit expense is going to be $1.60, which is not a lot at all. Accessories. Granted, I'm not going to add any accessories because it already comes prepackaged. I could add different accessories if I wanted to, but for now I'm not going to add any. But if you wanted to, you could just put the different accessory prices and put them here, and it'll give you a per unit price. Okay, next, product packaging. Now, I am going to create a label. I can always negotiate with them because what I'll do is I'll create the label here, maybe on Fiverr or something, pay $5 for it. Then I send it to them, and all they do is just, instead of their label, as we looked at before, instead of their label, actually, maybe I have a better picture down here. I'll just have a picture of these. Oh, that's the label right there. ColorWorks is their label. They'll use my label. Okay, so let's say if they're going to use my label, they might actually charge me a little bit more per unit to use my label because they have to sort of, or they may not. It's up to you. But let's say hypothetically they did. So I'll bump it up to $1.20 for each, and it bumps up my price a little bit. But now they're doing my labels for me, so my packaging cost is very low. Product packaging is $0. Internal filler, that's if you're using a box of some sort, $0. Labels or anything else is $0. So my packaging unit cost is $0. Now, shipping. Let's talk about shipping for a second. Now, I'm eventually, let's say if I'm using this product and I'm using the fulfillment by Amazon system, where Amazon stores it and packages it and sends it out to the client for me, eventually I would work it so that these clients would send it directly to Amazon. I mean, these sourcing suppliers will send it directly to Amazon as soon as I approve the samples and everything else. That way I don't have to deal with anything. So really, it's not going to cost me any shipping cost to have them send it to me and then me send it to Amazon. Is going to be a cost. And so I might do it in the beginning just to make sure that the quality is right. But after that, I'm going to have them send it directly to Amazon. And there's a way that you can do that. You just got to make sure that they put a UPC code for each product, and you can give them all the information, and they'll create labels and put it on there for you, and they'll ship it directly to Amazon, and Amazon go ahead and stores it for you, and then they sell it for you as well. So for now, let's say that we're going to use that process. My shipping cost to FBA, Fulfillment by Amazon, is going to be 0. My shipping boxes and everything else is going to be 0 because Fulfillment by Amazon is taking care of everything. Now, granted, it's not free to use Fulfillment by Amazon. It cost me about $10. Actually, I'd say, well, for now, hypothetically, let's not use FBA because I want to do a little tutorial on that video later. For now, let's say, okay, they're going to ship it to me, and I'm going to ship it to Amazon. So it'll cost me some money to, once I get the product, I verify and check the product, all my units, and then I ship it to Amazon. It's going to cost me another extra maybe $200 to actually ship it out there or less. And I'm assuming, again, I'm just doing general numbers. I'll probably need a box to ship it out to Amazon, a big box if I'm going to use like 500 units that I'm shipping out to Amazon. So let's say that box costs me, if it's a big thick box, because I got to make sure it's protected and everything is fine on the way there, I'd say maybe it cost me $100. I don't think it will cost that much, but I'll just put that for now. And I'll probably use a moving box, like a box they use to move stuff that protects the actual stuff inside to make sure that it doesn't get broken on the way to Amazon. External filler usually comes with it if you go to a moving company to get the box and inserts. Packaging labels you'll probably need, so let's say that's $10 to put the labels and things on there. And again, I'm using general numbers. But look, when you look at the packaging per unit, you're talking about 62 cents. You know, it's going to cost me to ship it to Amazon per unit. But let's say the $310 is going to be my cost to ship it to Amazon. All right. We're not going to use FBA right now, so you don't have to use that. FBA does have its own calculator of how much they charge for each unit to process each unit and everything else. If you did use FBA, just put that right there, and you'll be okay. But for now, my per unit expense total is $2.42. So in other words, all I'm spending on this product expense-wise to get it to me and then get it to Amazon. Oh, I'm sorry. My apologies. Excuse me. The shipping cost to FBA. That's if I'm going to use FBA as well. So I would need an FBA processing per unit cost, and I can put that information here, whatever that is. I'm for now going to say I'm not going to ship it to FBA. I'm going to ship it directly to the client and do it myself. So I'm going to put that as 0 here. But my shipping boxes, I'm going to need shipping boxes for each item. So you're talking about you can get like anywhere from 25 to 50 boxes for like $15. I'm looking at 500. So I'm looking at spending maybe $200 on all the boxes that I spend, or a little bit more. Again, but my packaging per unit is really low. That's if I'm shipping for myself from my location. Okay, but let's keep it like that for now, and later on we can talk about using Fulfillment by Amazon. Alrighty, so again, my FBA processing unit costs, we're not going to talk about right now, but still my per unit expense total is $2.22. So in other words, each product is going to cost me $2.22 in expense. That's a general number. But again, the idea is how to use this whole system to be able to get that information in there. My total expense is about $1,000. Now let's talk about projected price. Now we saw previously that as for silicone baking cups, these people right here, they were selling it for $10.99. Okay, granted, you know, that's a little bit below my threshold, but for this example, we'll go with it. So let's say I'm going to use that pricing. I'm going to match their pricing. Let's see how much money we make. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong one. Let's go price calculator. So let's say that my projected price is $10.99 on Amazon. Okay, so I'm making $8.77 per unit. Now that means that I spent $1,000 and I made $5,000. If I sold every one of those units, then my profit would be $4,385. That's huge, especially if I'm only spending $1,000. Now, then you got to understand that Amazon does get their share. Depending on what category you're in, it's a different percentage. But let's say we were to do the highest percentage, which is about 15% that Amazon gets. Okay, so they'll get $825 out of that. Sometimes you do get some returns, about maybe 2% returns. Try to make sure that you sell a quality product and that number will stay at 2% or less. So of course your additional expense is about $934. So the grand total expense is $2,000. You made $3,000 and your ROI is 168%. Now that's massive. That's a great ROI, especially for this product here. Again, you might be saying, hey, I'm not making a lot of money. It's not that much for that many units, and that's true. I would say even go for a higher unit amount if you want to, or just go for a higher price product, or try to sell it for a higher price. And all of a sudden, you bumped it up to $15, $14.99. Again, now you're making $5,000, and you get your ROI just jumped up. So you can tweak it. If you can get people to buy it for $14.99 because your brand is so good, and your copywriting is so well done, your ad is really, really dialed in, then go ahead and do that. So, or if you can reduce the cost, all of a sudden you got the boxes, you got them for a really good discount, so you end up spending for $100 for all these boxes. Packaging labels, $10 is probably right. So your per unit expense, you're able to negotiate with them a lower price for your wholesale price. So let's say you did it for 80 cents instead. You're talking about, and then you lowered your shipping cost too, for somehow you used another carrier or so somewhat. So that drops down to maybe $250. Then all of a sudden your charges are going down, so that really you're only spending about $1.52 per unit. Your total expense is maybe $7.60. Your price is $14.99. Your profit per unit is about $13. That's amazing. You're spending $1, you're making $13. That is radical. Your total revenue and profit is going to be about $6,000 for something like this. Again, Amazon gets their cut, but now your ROI continues to grow, as you can see. And granted, I'm just seeing a general Amazon share amount here. That category may be a lower amount. If it's like another category, some of them are 8.25% for Amazon share, and then all of a sudden your ROI jumps to 390%. So this is how I would use the Amazon price cost calculator to continue to tweak your prices. You could always go back to the source and say, hey, you know what? I want to buy more. I want to buy 1,000. If you can lower the price even further, and then you buy 1,000. Granted, your shipping costs will increase, but then of course now your price is down. Maybe it's 70 cents or some sort for each one, and then of course your ROI jumps up to 477%. So keep tweaking your pricing, your accessories, your products, your shipping. Eventually, if you do use FBA, you have to find out how much it's going to cost you per unit to use FBA for them to process it for you. It probably won't be that much, but then you save on all this extra external packaging and extra because they're handling everything for you. And then your business will be automated. So that's how to use the Amazon price cost calculator.